Can you believe my own parents, the people who raised me, almost let my 10-year-old daughter die? They refused to call an ambulance, left her gasping for breath, and then just walked out, going on vacation as if nothing had happened. I still replay that night in my head, the terror, the betrayal, the sheer disbelief that my own mother and father could be capable of such callous disregard for their grandchild's life. Tell me truly if you would ever forgive them for something like that, because I'm still struggling with it, even now. The wounds are still so fresh, and every time I look at my daughter, I see the shadow of what almost was, and it's all thanks to them. Let me take you back to how this nightmare even began. My daughter, Lily, has always been a bright, energetic, and incredibly sweet child. She's the light of my life, a budding artist who loves nothing more than sketching fantastical creatures and vibrant landscapes. She's also, unfortunately, allergic to peanuts. It's a severe allergy, one we discovered when she was just 3 years old after a frightening incident at a birthday party. Since then, we've been meticulously careful. EpiPen always on hand, everyone in our immediate circle fully informed, and constant vigilance whenever food is involved. My parents, Lily's grandparents, knew about it. They knew the severity. They had been present for countless explanations, watched me administer the EpiPen during practice runs with an expired one, of course, and had even attended a session with Lily's allergist. Understand the protocols, or so I thought. My parents, bless their hearts, have always been a bit old-fashioned. They come from a generation that believes in toughing things out, that doctors are for broken bones and serious illnesses, not for every sniffle or rash. This mindset, while sometimes endearing in its resilience, often clashed with my more modern, health-conscious approach to parenting. We've had minor disagreements over everything from screen time to healthy eating, but they were always just that minor. Annoying, perhaps, but never threatening. They loved Lily, I genuinely believed that. They doted on her, bought her too many presents, and always insisted on spending time with her. So, when they offered to watch Lily for a weekend, while my husband, Tom, and I went on a much-needed anniversary trip, I didn't hesitate. They were family, they knew about her allergy, and they lived only an hour away. It felt like the safest, most logical option. We went over everything again, just to be sure. I packed Lily's special snacks, clearly labeled all her safe foods, and most importantly, made sure the EpiPen was not only in her backpack, but also visibly placed on the kitchen counter with a note explaining its use. I even showed my mother where the emergency contact numbers were. Mom. I'd said, please, if anything happens, just call me immediately. And if it's an allergic reaction, don't hesitate, use the EpiPen and call 911. She'd nodded a little impatiently. Yes, yes, I know, dear. Don't you worry, we'll take good care of our little Lily. Bug. Those words still echo in my ears, mocking me. Tom and I left for our trip feeling a mix of excitement and the usual parental guilt. We called Lily that first night, and she sounded happy, talking about a new puzzle her grandma had bought her. Everything seemed fine. The next day, however, was when the world started to tilt. It was Saturday afternoon. My phone rang, and it was my mother. Her voice was strangely calm, almost too calm, which immediately put me on edge. "Hi, honey," she said, "just calling to let you know Lily isn't feeling too well." My heart jumped into my throat. "Not feeling well? What happened? Is it her allergy?" I demanded, my mind racing through every possible scenario. "Oh, no, nothing like that," she quickly reassured me. "She just seems to have a bit of an upset stomach, maybe a little rash. We think she ate something that didn't agree with her." A rash. Upset stomach. Alarm bells were blaring in my head. These were classic early symptoms of an allergic reaction. "Mom, did she eat anything new? Did she get into any of the snacks I didn't pack?" I pressed, my voice tightening with fear. "Well," she hesitated. "Grandpa gave her some of his trail mix. He always shares it with her, you know. She loves the peanuts." Peanuts? My blood ran cold. My father, with his lifelong habit of ignoring instructions he deemed unnecessary, had given Lily peanuts. My daughter, who was severely allergic to peanuts, had eaten peanuts under their supervision. "Mom, You know she's allergic to peanuts. Why would Dad give her peanuts?" I shrieked into the phone, tears already pricking my eyes. "Oh, it was just a tiny bit, honey. He didn't think it would be a big deal," she said, still with that infuriatingly placid tone. "She's just being dramatic, I think. She's complaining about her throat feeling funny, but she's probably just trying to get attention. Dramatic." My 10-year-old daughter, who has never dramatically complained about a life-threatening allergy, was being dramatic. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. "Mom, get the EpiPen, now. It's on the kitchen counter, and call 911. She needs an ambulance," I yelled, my voice cracking. "Oh, no, no, we don't need all that fuss," my mother said dismissively. "She'll be fine. We just gave her some antihistamines. She's resting now. We don't want to overreact. And besides, we're leaving for our trip to the coast in an hour. We can't miss our reservation." The words hit me like a physical blow. They were leaving for a vacation, while my daughter was having an allergic reaction. My mind struggled to process the sheer audacity, the unbelievable selfishness of it. You're leaving her there, having a reaction, and you're going on vacation." I screamed, my voice raw with disbelief and terror. "Mom, if she's having trouble breathing, if her throat is closing, she could die. She needs an ambulance. Use the EpiPen." I was pleading, begging her, for my child's life. "She's just fine, honey. She's just got a little cough now, and we don't want to bother the paramedics for something so minor. We'll keep an eye on her. Call you when we get to the hotel." And then she hung up, just like that. She hung up on me. Panic, cold and suffocating, seized me. Tom, who had been listening in horror, immediately sprang into action. "We're going home, now." He packed our bags in a blur, while I frantically tried to call my mother back. No answer, my father, no answer. I called my aunt, my uncle, anyone I could think of who lived near them. Finally, my aunt picked up. I sobbed out the story, my words jumbled and breathless. My aunt, God bless her, didn't hesitate. She knew about Lily's allergy and the seriousness of it. "I'm going over there right now," she promised. The drive home was the longest, most agonizing 2 hours of my life. Every minute felt like an hour, every mile a marathon. My mind conjured horrifying images, Lily struggling, gasping, her small body giving up. And my parents driving calmly away, perhaps already enjoying the ocean breeze, completely oblivious, or worse, completely uncaring. Tom tried to reassure me, but his face was grim. We both knew how quickly a severe allergic reaction could escalate. So that's the situation I was in. My parents, who were supposed to protect my daughter, had actively put her in danger, dismissed her symptoms, and then abandoned her for a vacation, refusing to call for help. I was stuck an hour away, racing against time, while my little girl was potentially fighting for her life. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Would you ever forgive them? What kind of revenge, if any, would you seek? Because what transpired next changed everything between us. When we finally pulled up to my parents' house, it was dark. My aunt's car was still there, thank God. I burst through the front door, my heart hammering against my ribs. The house was quiet, too quiet. "Lily," I screamed, running into the living room, and there she was. My sweet Lily, lying on the sofa, pale and listless. Her lips were swollen, there were hives visible on her neck and arms, and her breathing was shallow, punctuated by a terrifying wheezing sound. My aunt was sitting beside her, looking frantic, holding a wet cloth to Lily's forehead. "Oh, thank God you're here," my aunt cried, relief flooding her face. I gave her the EpiPen as soon as I got here and called 911. "The ambulance is on its way." Tears streamed down my face as I rushed to Lily's side, gathering her frail body into my arms. She coughed weakly, her eyes fluttering open. "Mommy," she whispered, her voice raspy. "It hurts to breathe." My heart shattered into a million pieces. The paramedics arrived moments later, a whirlwind of calm efficiency amidst my panic. They hooked her up to monitors, administered oxygen, and confirmed she was in anaphylactic shock. They praised my aunt for acting quickly with the EpiPen, stating it had likely saved Lily's life. If my aunt hadn't come, if she hadn't known what to do, if she hadn't ignored my parents' appalling negligence, I don't even want to think about it. The doctor at the hospital later confirmed that without immediate intervention, Lily would have gone into full respiratory arrest. She would have died because my parents, her grandparents, decided an ambulance was too much fuss, and their vacation was more important. Lily spent the night in the emergency room, under observation. She was weak and scared, but she was alive. And that's all that mattered. As soon as she was stable, and I had a moment to breathe, the rage finally hit me. It was a cold, searing anger unlike anything I had ever felt before. My parents, meanwhile, had called my aunt to check in from their beach hotel. My aunt, understandably furious, tore into them. She told them everything: the anaphylactic shock, the ambulance, the hospital, the doctor's prognosis that Lily could have died. And still, they were defensive. Well, she looked fine when we left. My mother had reportedly said, her voice laced with annoyance. And we told you not to bother the paramedics. My aunt hung up on them. When my parents finally called me, a full day later, when Lily was safely home and recovering, their tone was less apologetic and more annoyed. "So, is she really okay?" my father gruffly asked. "Your mother said you made a big scene." "A big scene. My daughter nearly died. A big scene," I repeated, my voice dangerously low. "You left your granddaughter to die, Dad. You refused to call an ambulance. You went on vacation while she was struggling to breathe because you couldn't be bothered to deal with a little fuss. She was in anaphylactic shock. The doctors said if my aunt hadn't gotten there in time, she would have died. Died. Are you hearing me?" There was a long silence on the other end of the phone. Then, my mother's voice, tight with indignation. "Well, we thought she was just being dramatic. And besides, we're her grandparents. We know what's best for her. We didn't want to cause a fuss." That was it. That was the moment I knew. There would be no apology, no remorse, no understanding of the gravity of their actions. Only deflection, defensiveness, and a continued belief in their own infallible judgment, even when it almost cost a child her life. The conversation devolved into a shouting match, with me accusing them of negligence and them accusing me of being overdramatic and disrespectful. I ended up hanging up on them. The aftermath has been brutal. My parents expected me to just move on, to pretend it never happened, and for things to go back to normal. But how could they? How could I ever trust them with my daughter again? How could I even look at them without seeing Lily's pale, struggling face? I told them, firmly and unequivocally, that they would not be seeing Lily for a very long time, and that I needed a substantial apology, a genuine acknowledgement of their wrongdoing, and a demonstration that they understood the severity of their actions before I would even consider speaking to them again. They responded with anger and accusations of disrespect, telling me I was tearing the family apart. My siblings were divided, some agreeing with me, others trying to mediate and urging me to forgive my parents. But forgiveness, for me, feels like an endorsement of their actions. It feels like telling them that what they did was okay, that almost killing my daughter wasn't that big of a deal. And I can't do that, not when every time I hug Lily, I'm reminded of how close I came to losing her because of their appalling choices. So here I am, still grappling with the fallout. Lily is recovering well, thankfully, but the emotional scars are deep. I've cut off contact with my parents for now. It hurts deeply to lose that connection, but the thought of letting them near my daughter fills me with dread. I'm prioritizing my child's safety and well-being above all else. This whole experience has taught me a painful lesson about trust, about family, and about standing firm when something truly important is on the line. I often wonder if I'm being too harsh, if I should try to mend the bridge, but then I remember that terrified gasp for breath, that dismissed fuss, and the image of them driving away while my daughter lay suffering, and I just can't. If you were on my side in this whole mess, please like this video. Subscribe for more stories like this, and share your final thoughts on my parents' actions, and whether you think I'm justified in cutting them off in the comments section below. I'll see you all in the next story.